Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Zephyr, and today we're doing After Effects Intro 2. And this is one of my favorite ones that I've ever made, and it's made for Zexis. He plays Blacklight Retribution, which is a game I've played. And I'm really excited to teach you guys how to make this one because I really like it. So this is what it looks like. Alright, so as you can see, it's a pretty awesome intro. So the first step is obviously to make a new composition. And all the default settings are fine. I'll just turn it black just because I can. And the duration would probably be 6 seconds is good enough. Even though it's about 5 seconds. Just leave some space. So we have our new composition. The very first thing is the background is just a gradient. And to do that, all we have to do is create a new solid by right-clicking on here. Click New Solid, make comp size black, and click OK. Then go to Effect, and generate ramp. And this is a linear ramp, which is just straight. If we make it radial ramp, then it'll be the type that we're looking for. Drag the anchor point from up there to down here. We're turning it a silver color. And then you want to drag the end of ramp outward. That just makes it a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bright. That's probably better. And it's a pretty good balance right there. Alright, so that's the background, and that's the easy first step. So you can see in the intro that I use these little characters that are spinning around, and obviously I had to get them from somewhere. And these are actually characters that the guy I made it for uses in-game. He sent me screenshots of them. So let me just open up Photoshop here. Basically what I did was I got an image like this for all three of them, and I cut it out using a combination of the magic wand tool and selection tools to remove the blue. And I can't really cover how to do that here because that's way too time consuming. But basically I saved it as a PNG, which preserves the transparency. And once I was done with that, I was able to import it. So I already did that, so let's import it here. Let's see. I didn't use one of them. I used three instead of the extra one. So I have a bunch of copies here because this is the original composition. But we just drag them in here. This guy and this guy. Sweet. So we have them all here, and I believe this guy started in the middle, and this guy started over here. Actually, let's see here. Yep. Okay, so that's basically how I did it, and then all you gotta do is scale it to the right scale, and we're all done here. Okay, let's make the spinning animation that we see in the original. As you can see, it looks like the characters are being spun through to select the right one. That's kind of the idea I'm trying to portray. And it's really a simple trick. All it is moving the characters and making them smaller so that it looks like it's going back. Okay? So the way we're going to do this is first, let's skip ahead to 15 frames. And we're going to do that by holding Control, then Shift, then moving with the right arrow, and then let go of Shift and press it 5 times. Alternatively, you can select here and type in the 15th frame. We want to be exactly there because I just want to give the viewers 30 seconds, half a second, not 30 seconds, in order to just see what's going on before the animation begins. Okay, so now let's open up all of these with the arrows, but first select them all holding Shift and then press T for opacity, then hold Shift, press P for position, and S for scale. and that will just let us see all the keyframes, and we can even move this up and down if we need to, okay? So that way we have a full view of what's going on, and we can adjust all the options here. Okay, so we're going to move, well, first we need to make this smaller. So before we even do a keyframe, Beast is this one, Barbie is the pink one, and then Zexis is the actual character that we're going to choose in the long run. So let's turn down the opacity. Let's do 45 as our standard. It's good to have a number so that it looks uniform. 45, it already looks better. And then let's say, what does it look like at 30? It's a little bit small. Scale, probably 40. 45 would probably work as well. Sorry, wrong one. Yeah, 45 is good. So scale on both of them to 45, so it looks like they're in the background, and the position is already good. So now we want to do the keyframes, okay? So let's first work on moving the Beast. Click the position, the scale, and the opacity. And let's say it takes about half a second. Let's make sure this is at perfect. Let's make sure, I want to set it at perfectly half a second, and let's move the position of this one. Actually, let's lock these for now so that we can only move this one. Let's move it straight on top, okay? And then we're going to put the scale down. Now the scale can't be the same as the other ones because it's already small. So this probably will look good enough. Yeah. And then opacity to the same. Okay. Now we lock this one, unlock Zexis. I want to move that one next. And do the same thing, but go back, hold shift to snap to these keyframes, and do all the jazz. Actually, opacity doesn't need to move yet because it's still in the background. So we're going to move it right on top here, and scale also stays the same. So that's actually an unnecessary keyframe so far. And then we lock that one, unlock Barbie, do the same thing, except this one is going to need the position, scale, and opacity because it's going to be in the front now. I hope you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. We're just going to move it over to the middle, scale it up to probably 94. Let's say 95 as our standard. 95 and 45. And the opacity back to 100. So overall, it should just look like we're switching characters. And it does. So for the interest of time, I'm going to do the rest off camera, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I finished the animation off camera, and as you can see, it cycles through both of them. And now the next thing we need to do is, as you see, it does a little glow thing when that selection sound happens. That's basically the selection animation. And then the name tags, we also want to do that. So let's start off with the name tags. Go to the very beginning, and it's pretty simple. All you have to do is get the pen tool and make sure no layer is selected. It's important what you choose here. Click on the fill letter, make sure it's none, and then stroke, make sure it's solid color. 5 pixels is good, and we want a black border. Alright, so we're just going to draw it from, let's say, here to here. Just a small line. And next, we get our text, whatever font you want, and type the name of the guy. So, Beast. And we want to make sure it doesn't conflict with this, so we're going to move it up a bit and move this up along with it. That's a little better. And all we got to do to make it move is it fades out first of all. So let's select both of these using Control, and then press T for opacity, and I think Shift P to also show the position. Click on the opacity stopwatch, move forward a couple frames by holding Control and then the right arrow, and then put the opacity to 0. We want it to happen very quickly so it's not fading out throughout the entire animation. So very quick fade out, and then while it's faded out so that you can't see it, we want this layer to move, because it's going to have to, the line's going to have to move because they're different heights. You see what it's doing there? So let's check out what height we need it at. Let's actually engage the position. Alright, for this guy, we want it probably up here, and it's not much of a big movement. So we're going to move this keyframe back here so it happens while it's completely invisible and it looks like a different line altogether. Alright, go to this animation and then hold Control, left arrow a couple times to move back. And now we're going to start the opacity by pressing the keyframe button. Go to the next spot and put 100%. Actually, we don't need that keyframe because once we use the text, it's done. So this one is finished now. It's going to stay invisible for the rest of the time, and we can lock it. Let's make a new one right here. And this one is Barbie. I just did that for humorous value. It's not like he actually names it Barbie. Oh, it was perfectly placed. So we want to press T for the opacity, turn it down to 0% at this keyframe, and then animate it so that it's 100% here. So the final product is this. I just want to make sure that it doesn't, yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so off camera, I can do the rest of that. The second part we want to do is the glow that happens when you select the character. So that's pretty simple. All you have to do is go to, well, select the character, go to Effect, and Stylize, and then Glow. And just play around with the options here. Glow threshold, I don't even know what these really mean, but this kind of looks cool. Glow radius adds a little bit of spunk to it. Don't make it too intense or else it looks really cheesy. I mean, it already looks cheesy, but that's kind of part of the style, I guess. So, yeah, we put it to that. Now we're just gonna, let's see, when should he select it? Let's say that he selects it right around here, okay? So up till this point, there should be no glow, right? So what we're gonna do is move forward a keyframe. We're going to animate this. I think it's glow intensity. Move back one keyframe and then put it back to 0. Yes. And actually the glow radius does make a difference. So we also need to animate that. Move forward a keyframe, animate that, move back a keyframe, glow radius 0. So that way you don't even see it, and then if you move forward, it's selected. Okay, so that's how I did that effect, and real quick I'll fix the name tag and then we'll move on to the next point.